Hi guys, it's Paul again from my YouTube art channel. Okay, today my friend Sarah from work informed me this morning that it's National Draw a Bird Day today. So I was having a think about this, and I gave a couple of people today a chance to guess what I was thinking. I'm thinking about doing a bird because it's national, in the UK anyway, it's National Paint or Draw a Bird Day, Paint a Bird Day today, to support wildlife and the RSPB, I think. So I'm going to do a Pixar bird. Now, if you've ever seen this film, Up, you'll know which bird I'm talking about. Towards, well, 2/3 of the way into the film, the little boy finds, well, Doug actually, who's the dog, initially finds a bird that they call Kevin the bird, who happens to be female apparently. So you can see here I've got a range. Look at the colours that you're going to need on this one. Very bright bird living in a forest up by the waterfall that they end up finding. All sorts of blues, yellows, 4 different types of reds, greeny blue into deeper blues, a couple of purples, a couple of with these faber-castell pencil crayons. I've got sparkly purple here, I've got a sparkly blue, and that's about it. No grey on this one, so my trusty grey's disappeared. Might bring a little bit of grey back later, maybe for a little bit in the legs. So what I've done here is, instead of the composition here, because I've got 3 characters already stood up, we've got Baymax under here, Bart Simpson and Michelangelo from the Teenage Mutant Turtles. I thought it might be interesting to get this bird coming in from the top, like, because in the film they find him and he keeps appearing at the top of the screen, just his head and his neck. But I really wanted to bring in some of his plumage, some of his body colour here, because it's really quite fun to colour in. It's going to be. I haven't done it before yet, so this is my first try of all these actually, apart from Bart Simpson. So we'll crack on ahead and have a go at it. It might not work, but let's give it a go. Now for this one, I think I'm going to start with his neck. Now, just drawn out roughly, you might not be able to see it on the video here, but the kinds of sizes that I want to achieve here. The neck's a bit thick, I'll bring that a bit thinner, but he's got some feathers, like peacock feathers, that 1 or 2 are going to hide behind Michelangelo here, just to give it a bit of interest, just to bring this composition together. And then he's got very long legs, like an ostrich legs, but obviously his legs are going to be above, as in the canopy. And the idea is that maybe he's holding onto a branch or something, which he would have done in the film. I think he's not a flightless bird, but in the film he's on the ground quite a lot. He's really tall. Little boy uses him as stilts actually in between his legs. I've seen the film quite a few times, but didn't know the name of the bird, so I've completely forgotten after watching it a long time ago. Kevin the bird is called, but it's not a he, it's a she apparently. So we're going to crack on with it. So we can bring the neck in like this, okay. And what you want to do is have a really long swooping neckline, okay, which I'm going to just bring out a little bit here into his chest. Okay, so back of his head, it's quite flat. Okay, and we're going to bring it in to about here, but you want a nice curve on this outwards. There we are, that's good. And we just do this quite quick. Yeah, I want to get onto the colouring, not take too long over this. Took a little bit too long there on the introduction for you. We've got a little bit of feathering going on around here, so we'll just draw that in for now. Put a lot more detail in it when we're colouring it in. Now I'm not going to go around this bird in black, I don't think, because I want to just keep it as feathers on the outside edge. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a line here that's going to be orange later on. And he's got a very small, bright blue, like almost turquoise, a wing like this, which is really, really bright. And it's tiny. That's his little, I think he's supposed to be a flightless bird. I think he tries to fly, but he can't really fly very much. So he's got a tiny, tiny wing there. We'll bring this right down, okay, which is the blue bit. And he's got a couple of feathers here. Now obviously this is animated and it's digitally done by Pixar. Great film company. I love watching Pixar films. I was considering doing somebody I know very well. Faye suggested when she guessed, she thought it was Rio. So I might do Rio flying up here somewhere later on. That's the parrot. But we're going to stick with Kevin. Quite like Kevin's character in the film. And we're just going to bring in some feathers now. Okay. And I want to, this bird's enormous. So we'll do this kind of thing here where he's got a leg that comes in from about here. It's like almost like a chicken's leg, but it's really long. And then it's really, really thin here. So we've just got to get this kind of knee joint in here. It goes really, really almost pencil thin off the. There we are. That's good, like that. Okay. Next leg comes in now. You got to be careful here. It comes in. Just trying to block in some where I know the colours are here. So this is about it here. The other leg starts a bit higher because obviously this one's tucked away behind the plumage. But this leg starts a little bit higher up. And it's a little bit thicker because it's kind of his thigh bone. I'll try and get out of your way in a minute. I'll just finish this bit. Noticed when I've been watching these back with my daughters that are trying to follow along the following day, I realise how often my hand gets in the way. So I do apologise for that. But obviously it's difficult to draw it if you're not close up with your hand. Now, I think I've got these feathers a little bit too high, so I'll bring them back down again. Okay, and then we'll probably rub this section out, I think. There we are. So I'm going to move all these pencils out of my way because they're just in the way here, so we'll just move them up there slightly. Now, head-wise, so I'm happy with that. That's pretty good. You just need to just block in where you're going to change the colour. Okay. We've got the wings, the feathers coming through here. Okay. Another section of colour down here, which is purple into this purple area here. Let's just rub that out there. This is all going to be kind of purpley red. And that's about it. Head-wise, this is where his character comes in. Quite an interesting looking beak. So we're going from this right in this corner. We're almost touching the back of the head here. We're going to go almost straight across here, meeting that gullet, that neck area here. And then it just bends down ever so slightly into a really long beak. And then we're going to take this now and we're going to bring this right round the top of the head here. It almost touches the top of the head. This is going to be yellow. Okay, and then it follows almost diagonally straight down. And then it goes back up quite quickly to this kind of shape. And then it curves around to a really tight, a really sharp edge there. Okay, and then all you've got to do, there's a tiny little bit more blue here on the outside edge here. You just got to get this shape going on here. Okay, now the eye is enormous. Okay, it fills up most of this. Almost haven't got that wide enough there. There we are. That's about as wide as his eye goes there, okay. Bring it round a little bit there. Okay, so that's Kevin. And he's got a big old eyeball here. It makes him look a bit stupid, I think. Yeah. I'm just going to rub out the back of this eye because I'm not happy about that shape. So we're going to just bring that round a little bit here. Okay, there we are. Get that shape the same. Okay, and there's Kevin. He's just missing. There's a curved mouth here, so it starts like this and it soon disappears into the rest of his beak there. Okay, and that's Kevin really. That's all we need to be doing. Rub out these pencil lines perhaps before we start, and then it's just cracking on with the colour. I'm really quite happy with that shape. Don't need to change that very much, but yeah, that's pretty much what Kevin looks like. We've then got to do his plumage up here, but we'll do that in a little bit. Okay, so probably best thing to do is start right at the top, just because you don't want to smudge too much. So let's get a little bit of bright yellow around the outside edge here. Okay, and all of this will be bright yellow, really bright yellow. Okay, apart from the outside bit's going to be blue. My voice is going. Voice is going today. I've been painting fences all day today in the garden. So much wood to paint, it's ridiculous. And then we're going to go, that's about enough. Then there's a little splash of orange. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of orange now. Okay. And this goes over the top like this. And it mixes in with the yellow. Okay, nice and bright. And then we've got a tiny little bit of red. It's kind of a darkish red right at the bottom of his bill here. So we do a dark red splash if we can. Okay. Dark light red line here. Okay, might even be darker than that. All right, and then lighter red. So you want orange going into red here. So, but I want to leave a little bit, a really light bit of almost white here on the tip of his beak. Okay. So bring that lighter red through. I'm going to mix it with the orange now, okay? And You want to get that curve going, so kind of the same curve as the top edge here. And we'll get that orange going through now, just to mix that red and orange together. Don't forget to blow your pencil crayon, any extra pencil crayon away. Don't smudge by using your hand. Okay, and then orange across the top, mixing in with that yellow again. Okay, and I've got rid of that white at the top there. I don't think it's quite right. It's like a yellowy colour, so I'm going to bring that yellow over the top of that orange there, just to lighten that orange up a little bit. Okay, there we are, that's good. And then we want a much darker red underneath. Okay, so we'll go darker than what I've just shown you. That's better. The issue now is you can see the pencil line across the top, so I'm going to have to have a think about that in a little while. I've got a yellow marker pen, that's the Stabilo one, and an orange one, so I might work that. Let's just have a look, see if how that works. So I've got Stabilo fine line 0.88 markers here. Come in a really big pack of 25. You can get them from all good art supply shops, but so that's better with that yellowy edge to it there. Okay, a little bit of orange through here. Okay, might carry on with that orange actually, just to get rid of that pencil line underneath. All right, and then what you're going to do is bring that yellow through. Probably see if we can rub this out a little bit, actually. So it's a little bit lighter, and then we can go over it with the yellow. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to go over this as well. Alright, that's good. So, what we want to try and do, if you can, is just bring a little bit of darker shade in here. So I'm using an orangey yellow now to show that this is a bit darker section of his beak. Alright, now onto the darker, really dark blue now, if we can. So almost black this is, and some artists and even Pixar themselves, when they first originally started drawing this, I was researching it earlier today, they started off thinking about black for his whole neck, but I think they changed it last minute in the early cartoon kind of style when they were, the concept art should I say, when they were thinking about how to make Kevin look, I think it was black. So you could do this whole neck black if you really wanted to, in keeping with the original. But actually when the film came out, it was blue. Okay, so what we're going to do is, we're going to do two different blues here. I'm going to do a darker blue down this side, and then a lighter blue in here. But right around the edge is going to be this dark blue again. Okay, so I'm going to probably just do the edging now, like this. Okay, a little bit there, but not too much. And then all of this is really dark. Apart from when you get down to the bottom here, and then it does this kind of shape. Okay, so what you can do now, again, blow away your pencil lines if you can, is to go all in the same direction down his neck. Try your best to do that. Also nice and solid. This really bright colours this, so you can have some fun with how hard you push down. Just be careful you don't push too hard, it goes through the page. You don't want to rip your page, especially if you've not got a really good quality piece of paper. And if you're using like printer paper or something like that, it goes straight through. But I use this, I had it for Christmas, actually, an Art Deco pad from Art Gecko pad, sorry, from Amazon. I bought one of my daughters one the other day, an A4 size one. A really good pad. I don't work for them or anything like that. It's just a really nice pad that I've found. Okay, so now we're going to go a little bit brighter blue, and you'll notice the difference here. Now, this is almost luminous in the film, but I haven't got anything that's like extremely bright, so we'll make do with these colours that I have got. So you just want a nice bright blue through here. Try not to go over the edge, and you've only done pencil line down the neck. Keep these pencil lines as light as you can, because like I've just shown you there up on the beak, it does show through. Okay, especially if you're using something like yellow, you can't really see it on the outside of the blue, which is not too bad. The pencil lines there has disappeared, hasn't it? So we'll do this now through here, but then we're going to go back to a darker here in this section over the top of that blue there. Okay, and we've got a stripe of dark, another one here. Okay, and around here really quite dark, and then you can work in this other blue. You said green then. We are using a little bit of green later, not quite yet. Okay, so I don't want to show any of the white underneath, so nice and firm. All right, that is looking pretty good. Okay, now if you have got a pack of pens, you could use, I've got these Stabilos again, same pack, just to give you a bit of definition around the outside edge of this, because we're not using the black, but we could use other pens. These are fine liners, so we've got, I'll put some more detail with that later on as well, feather detail. There we go. So again, I might drop it down the back of this neck here just to make it really nice and sharp, and it's got a feather here. Okay, so you want to have a look at here is getting these feathers in, if you can, like this. Okay, we can come back to this later actually, because we've got to put yellow underneath it anyway. All the way up, if you can. Just putting the lines of the feathers there. Okay, just missed one little bit there of blue. Don't want to see any of the white underneath. Okay, so could even go dark with that blue actually. It might go darker in a little while and just bring it into maybe even a little bit of black. So let's just see if I can find my black here. Always hiding because I use it a lot. It's really quite short, the black is. There we are. So you can see the difference between the two pencils. I use the black way more than anything else. So I'm just going to bring in a bit of almost, if you do it blend it over the top, over the top of the blue, it doesn't quite look as sharp black, it just looks like shade. Bring it down the outside edge of his neck as well, I think. There we go. So I just smudged there with my hand, completely forgot about blowing, smudged it. Okay, so we've got this colour now working really well. I just want to block in that really bright kind of greeny turquoisey colour on his tiny little on his tiny wing here, and that's what it looks like. It's almost exactly that colour. Don't worry too much if you've not got that colour. I've seen lots of artists do it in all different colours. I'm just going to bring a little bit of darker shading over the top of that. It's not quite as dark as I'd like it, so I need a bit of kind of greeny. That's it. Okay, you want to show like the feather in there, over the top. Okay. There we go. That's exactly the kind of thing that you want really there. Okay. And then we've got some yellow now. Now I want to just show you with the yellow. We don't really want a bright yellow all the way through it. We want to mix it into oranges. So I'm going to choose this yellow here in the middle. We're going to go darker orange through here. So earlier on I drew these lines down here just to guide me. So I'm going to bring some orange in here. Okay, I'm going to bring some orange through the where his legs are, and I'm going to dull this orange a little bit in a while. Okay, use a little bit of something over the top of it just to deaden the colour a little bit. And then down here we've got orange, bright orange under here, right the way across to there. Okay, we've got flecks of orange through here as well. Okay, and then the majority of that then is, this is orange as well, above his thigh. Then we've got to go yellow, so what you want to do is, there's some really bright yellow here. Okay, bright yellow through here, mix it in with the orange if you can. Okay, and the bright yellow carries on. You could do the yellow before the blue if you wanted to. If you mix it with the blue there, it will give you a bit of a strange greeny colour, I think. Orangey yellow here, like this. Okay, a little bit more in here. The orangey yellow coming in again here now. Almost like sunset this. I'm going to work that right the way round. Okay, you want to just bring in splashes of yellow through here, all the way down, but miss some bits, some white bits, and then you're just going to drop in this orangey yellow in here. So this is the kind of shading you want to be doing. Try and do some lines over the top of the yellow like that. Okay. So you just got this yellowy orange here, a light orange, not too bright like this. This is all going to be reddened up anyway over here, so I wouldn't worry too much about that currently. There we are. Okay, Then we're going to go for mix a little bit of red. So we're going to go a light red through here and underneath this really bright colour. Mix it in with the orange if you can. Okay. We've got this kind of thing going on here where we've just got a little bit of red all the way down. Okay, into there. Alright. What we want to try and do is sound like a bird. That's house party trying to talk. Just put my phone on silent, sorry. This red is looking good. You want then bright purple, so I'm going to use my I guess this kind of purple here, which has got a bit of a sparkle to it. Okay. So we've got a flash of darker purple here. Alright, and we've got a lighter purple coming in over the top of that in a minute. This is darker purple here. So I'm going to go around these feathers. Okay. Drop my pencil on that. Probably lead all smashed now. This is good. Right, so we're going to go for a lighter kind of lilac-y purple now over the top of that. So this is what you want to be colouring now. This kind of thing. There we are. Splash on top of this. Splash here. And then back to your blues. So I'm going to use, I'm going to start with a lighter blue actually. So this is kind of a sky blue. So we're going to go right the way through the outside edge with this. And this is going to bring in your feathers now. Okay, so I'm going to colour all this light blue. Okay, and then I'm going to do much darker blue over the top of this in places, particularly here. So we're just going to leave those bits there. We're going to do much darker blue here now. Okay, so what you want to do is try and get a blue that suits the rest of the piece of art. Okay. Okay, so this is hopefully coming together nicely now. We've got some darker bits to show you the feathers. There we are, darker bit around the outside as well. And then a couple of just darker bits on the edge. That's okay, quite happy with that. I might just put a tiny little bit of black in here, just to show the edges a little bit clearer. I'm just flicking black through it now, just to show that there's a few more darker sections there. Okay, And that's pretty much all we need to do in this area. Okay, now down here we've got lots of really dark reds. Okay, so back of his tail is really dark red. So I'm going to start with this one, the darkest red you can find. Okay, if you can. You want to show the feather in here. So you want a nice sharp pencil just to get some feathers going at the bottom here. Sharp a pencil as you can here. Okay, I'm going to go really dark here. You can mix it, blend it into the purple. And it's going to go like this. Okay. And actually I'm going to go even darker than this in a minute with a little bit of black. So this is working around his leg now. And this is where I'll get my trusty silver out in a little minute. Okay, so tiny bit of black fleck through here. You want it even darker than in places, but not the whole thing. You're just going light with black over the top now. Okay. So what we're doing like this. Okay, and a little bit darker here. And a bit more there. There we are. That's good. Okay, so now what you want to do is, we've done all this dark, I'm going to get my silver now. So you want to go over this edge here. This is like a silvery grey. Okay, so you want to see that this is darker down here, over the top of this orange. And from this leg here we're going to go up and through this. You're going to do it nice and light. And we're going to put some grey through here as well, some grey strokes. Just some lines. Okay. Some lines over the top to suggest feathers. Across the top section as well. In places do a few more, and then in other places do very few. There we go. So that's good. Liking that. Okay, so now we've got grey down this edge. Grey to there. Okay, and then we've got a little bit of grey coming back down here. This is almost all black, apart from a section there that's grey. Okay, and then what we can do is we can just run this black through then. Okay, and don't forget, try and get some of this feathering going on at the top. There we are. Now try not to go over the silver or grey. Okay, light grey. So I'll just give you that definition of the leg. Otherwise it'll get lost in that really dark red of the feathers there. Okay, so you want to... Pixar tends to do that with the light and the dark, so you can just clearly see that that's a leg. It's not just blending into the back of the feathers there. You can always go over that a bit more dark there than with black, just to give you a bit more shadow. Okay, just a little bit darker, almost black in there as well, underneath there. Okay, and then we're going down again, right the way down. Opens up slightly at the bottom, and don't go over that silver bit that you've drawn at the bottom here. And there we have the leg. I might go over that in a minute with a black fine liner, just around the edges. Get a nice straight line there. Okay, this, don't forget this curve here, this bend in the leg. And it goes down to his knee joint. And it goes off the page. If you wanted to do his feet in, you just bring that up. Playing the words there, up. Bring that up. I was considering putting some balloons in his mouth tonight, and I thought, no, I wouldn't do that. But I mean, the film's famous for the house going up on balloons, isn't it? So I was thinking maybe I'd do that, but I haven't. Okay, so I'll work a bit more orange through here. It's a bit light. A little bit more orange over the top of that yellow in places. A bright orange here, I'd say in my hand. Okay, get a duller one, that'd be better probably. Okay, and we've got... That looks pretty good to me. Okay, leave some of that yellow in there. Okay, that's looking excellent. Okay, so the next thing to do is with a black fine liner, if you've got a black one or a very dark grey, is to go round the back of the go around the back of the leg. Okay, so you want something like this. You've got a real definition then. Like that, okay. So I'm just going right round the outside edge of this with this marker pen. Alright, so the next job, the very last job to do, is to go round the eye, and I'm going to go round with a green marker. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm just going to rub out the inside of this eye here, because this needs to be white. Okay. So, and again, we're going to get a little bit of blue, the darkest blue that we've got. Okay, and there's a tiny little bit of blue up here. There we go. That's all the blue you need at the top. Okay. Now, around this eye is going to be green. And you could use pencil crayon if you wanted to with this. I'm actually going to probably just use a little bit of pencil crayon, this blue and this green. What you want to do is just match the green here if you can. That's the kind of shading. I'm using the pencil there. I haven't rubbed the pencil out. That gives us a nice shadow underneath his eye. Okay, and then we're just going to bring this blue further up. And then we're going to use a little bit of yellow, orangey yellow here. And then finally, we're going to get the black eye. Now, to make him look a bit stupid, Pixar have done his eye quite large. And I think it just gives him a character who's a little bit dopey. Okay, now you don't have to leave a space in the middle of the eye, but I quite like doing that. Okay, and we just drop a little bit of black across the top here, like this, okay? And it gives it real character and definition. Again, a little bit of black around here. I'm going to bring the black through, remember, around the back of the beak. And I'm just going to bring in a little bit of feather in here. Black feathering, just to give it a nod to the original cartoon. Okay, now I think we're pretty much done, really. Just going to bring in a little bit more black, just for the feathers, just a few lines in this fine liner. Okay. And what I'm also going to do is tiny bit of brown underneath this here, because it looks like he's got feathers below here. So a tiny bit of brown, light brown, mix that in at the bottom with the orange, and it'll look like it's much darker. Okay, maybe a little bit of brown in there. It looks good, that. A bit of darker brown around the outside edge of this. And that's pretty much our bird. Now, what we've got to do is we've then got a few lines here. So if you just bear with me for a minute and I'll draw. We're going to have this kind of thing going on. There's another one there, and then there's one more here. Okay, so now we've done those a black fine line pen. We've then got to draw in the end of the feathers. So I'm going to use a blue to do this. I want this kind of shape here. Okay. This is the kind of shape that we're going for. This is basically what we've got. Okay, so what we're going to do is go back to this really bright, the same colour as this, okay, and we're going to go on the inside. We're going to have some bright flashes on the inside of this, okay, and then we're going to carry on with this blue. And it's going to look a little bit like this. You're going to do a line down there. So this will look like his the end of his, almost like peacock style, the end of the peacock's feathers. Okay, he's got one coming in behind Michelangelo's bandana there. Just to tie that in a little bit. And we do some lines on that to just make it look like a feather. Okay, and that is our Kevin. The bird, so just turn this around, so move all these pencils out of the way. Just turn this around, you hopefully be able to see that we have drawn that upside down, so when you turn it round, it's coming in from the top. Well, it's quite cool, doesn't it, that? Quite like that. So you can imagine he's on some kind of branch here in the rainforest. It just changes the whole composition. You don't really want all the characters stood up next to each other, so you just have fun with it really. You could do whatever characters you wanted. I'm going to do a bit of graffiti style art over here somewhere as well. If you can think of any like cool graffiti words like old school or anything like that, maybe something to do with this kind of animation. It's not just Disney, this is Pixar. Bart Simpson is obviously from The Simpsons, which is run by Fox TV channel. Not sure about Big Hero 6. I think it was, can't remember now what it was. It's late. So this is going out on Thursday. I hope you've enjoyed that. Sorry it's a long one. It took a while. That's 51 minutes, 52 minutes or so. And I'll see you again very soon for another one. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.